Hey y'all. Welcome to the channel. I'm your girl. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. So in today's video, y'all, we are doing a book in my pajamas because this is how I read. So if you guys are new, I set a goal for myself this year to read at least 20 books. And some of y'all might be like, 20 books, that's it? But girl, the way my life be moving and shaking, I'm barely making, I don't even think I've read half of 20 books, and we're halfway through the year. So I gotta pick it up. But I did go ahead and read DJ Richie Sky's The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire. You guys have seen this. If you guys are not familiar with DJ Richie Sky, he is a YouTuber. He does a lot of commentary on like reality TV shows like The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Potomac, all the reality TV shows. He's your guy. He has like inside information. He gives great commentary on the episodes, and he kind of keeps up with their day-to-day lives or whatever. So he wrote a book. He actually has written 2 books at this point. This book that I just read this weekend, I think this may have come out last year, but I wasn't on the reading kick last year. Okay, this year is when I decided that I was going to go ahead and do this. So yeah, I had to pick up his book because number one, I love his YouTube channel and I just want to support other YouTubers and other Black authors. And number two, I just love to read, and I like his concept of the reality TV thing. Like, this was perfect. This was like a perfect idea for him to do in book form, right? We're gonna go ahead and talk about it because I have some critiques, okay? Not bad though, not bad at all. Just a couple little critiques, and I feel like everyone that is putting content out there, myself included, we love good critiques. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can tell us how to make something better, I personally enjoy that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this book. Hey y'all, so I took notes because I'm so long-winded and I will go so far left from what I'm supposed to be talking about. And I also want to kind of review the book without giving away too much, just in case some of you guys have not read the book yet. So we're just gonna touch on a couple things. So basically the book starts out, you'll see within the book that there is like a part of the book where they're talking about the characters in their current story, but then it flips to a blogger that is releasing information about this reality TV show that these women are on. So in total, I think there were 6: Desiree, Brittany, Davita, Misha, Kiana, Lynette, and Dolores. So 7 housewives, just like you would get 6 or 7 housewives on the Potomac or the Atlanta or wherever. This book mentions 6 or 7 women that have been on the first season, are currently on the second season, or are just friends of the show. So basically the book, this specific book is about someone named Desiree. She was a correspondent and a talk show host for a major media company, but she was recently fired, and she was also engaged, but her fiance left her due to the scandal that she had at work. So that's kind of where the book starts out, is we are following Desiree. She has been asked to join this reality TV show to help boost her career or put her back in the eyes of the public in a positive way by her agent. Her agent suggested this idea. The agent is a big part of this book, so you guys, like, I don't want to tell too much, but you have to pay attention to the agent and all that good stuff because he's a big part of the book. So basically, Desiree is trying to push herself back out there in the public in a positive light after she's been fired, and this is what her agent suggests. You'll see throughout the book that we're going from like their lives to the blogger who is releasing information. I say this is a good book for Rich because, like I said, he does a lot of reality TV. He was actually on a reality TV show too. I don't know the name of it and I did not watch it, but I know that when I first started following him, he mentioned being on a reality TV show. I don't know if it was on VH1, MTV, I don't know what it was on, but I'm sure if you look hard enough you can find it. So he has the background in reality TV, which is why I think this book was so good for him to do. I like the way he set up the different characters because he can now do 7 different books in this series based on each character that he has mentioned, and they all have like a really good backstory, a really good storyline, something that he can actually pick up and move, you know, build on in future books. So I think that was great. I think that was very smart of him to do that. In this specific book, Desiree's storyline, I basically already told you her storyline. Like we like to say in reality TV, I basically already told you that. But she is also juggling like relationships in this book, relationships with 2 different men. She's juggling trying to deal with the women of this book who she's not friends with. Like in reality TV, they're not really friends, but they're just all kind of thrown together to create scenes. So she's trying to navigate her way through that, all while staying like loyal to the people around her that are already currently in her life, if that makes sense. I'm trying to tell y'all without telling y'all because I want y'all to read the book, and then maybe we could do like a part 2 and come back and actually really discuss it if you guys want to do that. I wrote down a couple pros and a couple cons. My first pro is good storyline setups. I already said that. He has 7 different characters that he's mentioned. Each one has, and he did a really good job of kind of putting us in their lives without doing too much, because this book was solely like, it was about Desiree, but we got a backstory on each and every one of the characters, like what their current challenges are. So I think he did a really good job of setting up storylines for his future books. I said I like the reality TV aspect of it. It's easy for him to create a series, which I think he plans on doing. And every character has a good backstory to them that is interesting and filled with drama. So those are my pros about the book. Cons, there were a lot of grammatical errors, a lot of spelling errors. I don't feel like it was proofread enough before it hit the shelves, if we must say. Speaking of, I got this book on Amazon. I'll leave how much it was. I don't think it was any more than like $15, but I'll leave it somewhere on the side so you guys can know the exact price as well. But it definitely was not proofread enough. There were a lot of grammatical errors, and I'm not even someone that's like, oh, you did this, you missed this comma, you did that. It was just a lot of like misspellings. It could have been written better. It could have been proofread a little better. I also feel like in this book we didn't get a lot of the conversation between people. It just kind of seemed like the scenes were set up, and then as quickly as you started, like in one sentence they were there, they just got there, and then the next sentence they were leaving, type of thing. There was no kind of like in between conversation. I put down here an example. Desiree had a date with someone at a pizza place, and it seems like as soon as we read that first sentence that they pulled up together, the next sentence they were gone, and we didn't really get into depth. And I bring that up because in the book she has such a connection with this man, but it's like, how do we get here? Because there was no conversation for us to follow. You see what I'm saying? It was kind of like that. And I just also put that the scenes seemed like they were rushed and parts were missing. Like we were just missing a lot from this book. I don't know if it was because this was his first book and he didn't want to do too much, because the book is only, let me see, this first book was only 169 pages, so this is not a long read at all. Like I said, I started this on Saturday, I finished it Saturday night. I feel like maybe he was just kind of putting the feelers out there and he didn't want to do too much. But DJ Richie, if you see this, we need a little bit more of the conversation, the background, you know, that type of thing, because I just felt like we weren't getting enough. Ultimately, the book, it left off with a cliffhanger. Someone else very close to Desiree was murdered, and she's now left wondering who did what, where, why, how, that type of thing. Like I said, I don't want to give you guys all of the books. I'm trying to kind of skate around what I feel like you need to know. That is the premise of the book, though. It's basically built on reality TV. You have multiple characters listed in the book. There are conflicts, there's drama, there's romance, there's mystery. So yeah, if those are things that you look for in a book, I think that you will like this. Again, you're gonna have to get past the errors, the grammatical errors in the book, but I'm hoping that in the next book those will be kind of corrected. But I do see him making this into a series, and I did pick up book number 2, and I'm actually gonna start that tonight. So that's why I wanted to film this part of book 1, because I didn't want to go into book 2 and then kind of give you information about that when I'm just talking about this one. So yeah, that is my review of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire. Y'all can tell me how y'all want me to do these book reviews. Do you want me to just kind of inch it like I did with this one, or do you want me to actually get deep into the scenes and talk about things that I liked and didn't like? I just don't want to ruin the book for people that may come across this video and have not yet read the book, if that makes sense. But I do want to give you guys what you're looking for in a book review. I just kind of need you to tell me how you want me to go with it. Again, we can always do follow-ups. We can do lives if you guys want to discuss these books live, maybe twice a month, once a month, something like that. Yeah, you guys just let me know your recommendations down below, because I want to know what y'all want. I want to know what y'all want, okay? Anyways, I'm off to go read book number 2, which I'll probably put in this review as well. I'm just gonna kind of keep them together since it is a series at this point. And yeah, we'll be back to talk about book number 2. Okay, y'all, so it is the next day. I stayed up reading until like 3-4 o'clock this morning because I wanted to finish this book. This is the second book in DJ Richie Sky's The Wickedest Wives, the Wickedest Wives series. And I don't know, I really just wanted to figure out what was going on with Desiree. Joining this with the first book, and I don't think in the first book review I told you guys who was murdered, so let me leave that out of it. But basically in this second book, y'all know I took my notes because shoot, I was half asleep when I finished reading this last night, and I was taking notes along the way because I started it last night and finished it last night. So I wanted to make sure that I wrote down everything that I was feeling about the book as I was watching it so I can give a good review. I said as I was watching it, it was kind of like I was watching something. It was kind of like I was really watching a Real Housewives episode, so that was pretty cool. Someone who was close to Desiree was murdered, and so at the end of book 1 they kind of left off in some drama and they went on break. So in this book we pick up Desiree is in Miami on a vacation from her castmates, and Desiree now has to hire a new PR rep, and it is like an old friend of hers who is very like on her ish. Okay, they're slowly working to kind of get Desiree back on track because she was not shown in the best light by the end of the first book, and so that they are now trying to get her back in motion, back in the swing of things, back in the good light of the public eye. I also told you guys in book 1 that Desiree was kind of in the middle of a love triangle herself, of course, and then there was two men that she was dealing with throughout book 1. But if that wasn't enough, the love triangle, in book 2, a third person steps on the scene, okay? A third person comes in, they enter, or should I say re-enter, they re-enter the scene. Kind of confusing things for Desiree, which I liked the shakeup of it all. It was like the mystery of it all. If you guys are like using context clues, I'm sure you can kind of figure out what I'm trying to tell y'all without really telling y'all. But I liked it. I liked the little shakeup. I thought that was real cute. We're also introduced to a new friend of the show. Her name is Shanice, and Shanice is so interesting because she's actually having an affair, or was having an affair, with one of the current housewives' husbands. So it's so many like twists and turns in this book that this second book really made me like the series. The first book I was kind of like, it was okay. You know, I told you guys about the grammatical errors in the first book. There are still some in the second book, but not as many, I don't think. And the story, I was seeing it unfold, but it was kind of like slow to unfold. But this second book, I was like, okay, I can keep reading this. Like, I like this. So in walks Shanice. Like I said, she's a friend of the show. And if you guys watch reality TV, like you will really love this series, because I'm telling you, it's just like you're watching the behind the scenes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you are like a reality TV type of girl or boy, you're gonna love this. Like, you're gonna love this series. Another thing I wanted to shout out was Richie shouted out his best friend's clothing line in his book. So his best friend, Riley Knox, she is also here on YouTube, I believe. But in real life, she has a clothing line. Like, she makes custom made dresses or designs for people. And so in the book, that clothing line or that artistry is also mentioned in the book. So I'm like, Richie's looking out for his bestie, and you know, we love a good friend. Okay, we love a good friend, so shout out to him for that. All in all, I really do like the series so far, just because it puts you in that reality TV type of mindset. Like, he mentions a lot of things in the book, like flipping of tables, which we know Teresa has done. There's like a fight scene by a pool where two of the ladies have fallen into the pool, which in real life I don't think we've ever seen anyone fall into the pool. But when I read that, it kind of put me in the mindset of like Toya and Mariah on Married to Medicine. So it's kind of cool to watch how he's kind of like incorporating different scenes from reality TV that we have already seen, and kind of spinning it in his own way. So I thought that's like a cool aspect of the book. I also think that it was written a lot better. Like I said, there are a couple errors throughout the book, but again, it's not as bad as like the first one, which the first one wasn't terrible, but you know, you could see like the errors kind of popped out at you, and it wasn't like an easy flow to the first book. But this book, I really think they did a better job of writing it so that it made it easier to read. The storylines are unfolding a lot more in this book. We're getting more of the backstory of each of the characters, and like more information about the challenges of their past and present. And yeah, I like this book a lot more. I knew that as he continued the series, I was gonna like it more because I like the whole plot of it. It just needed to be, you know, we just needed a little bit more backstory. Well, I needed a little bit more backstory, and I feel like in this book he gave that to us. Yeah, at the end of book two, at the end of book 2, we're kind of left with like a cliffhanger. So I'm thinking that he's going to continue the series. I'm hoping. I haven't heard him mention a book 3 at all, but I also don't watch like every one of his videos, so he could have mentioned it and I missed it. I'm not sure, but the way the book was left on such a cliffhanger, I feel like we're getting another book. It's just about when we're going to get it. I'm also not gonna lie, he really pulled me in with the second book. It's not really much to like talk about without me telling you what is going on with each character, but you have to read the book to actually see. It's a lot going on with each individual character, and then when you combine them all together and how they're connected, it's a lot going on. So if you guys really like reality TV, mystery, kind of like suspense, it's kind of suspenseful in a way, yeah, I think you'll really like this book. It has a touch of like love scenes in it, not too much. So if you're somebody that does not really like the very over the top like sex scenes or love scenes or stuff, you won't really get that in these first 2 books. Like, it's touched on, but it's not like anything crazy. It's kind of like a PG, you know, PG for adults, not for children. Let children read, but PG for adults. And yeah, there's just so much going on in the book. I feel like he can go so many different ways as he continues to roll the series out, and I for one am excited. I actually really like book 2. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited. The cliffhanger at the end really has me like hooked, and I'm waiting for book 3. Okay, overall for his first 2 books, I think he did a great job of building on each book. So yeah, I am excited to see what book 3 holds for us. And that's my review of DJ Richie Sky's The Wickedest Wives. We got the first one, which was called Desiree's Desire, and then we have A Vicious Reality. So you guys know, as they put out more books, I'm going to read them and we're going to review them. And if you ever want to have a discussion or anything like that, let me know down in the comments about any of the books that I talk about. We can definitely do that. And I'm about to get out of here, but I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.